Well, welcome to FlashPoint. I'm Gene Bailey. Let's get started. We got a packed night tonight. You don't want to miss any of it. All right, little business here right off the top. All right, folks, they're in. The new FlashPoint coffee cup. Beautiful, isn't it? And it actually holds tea. You can get yours. All you've got to do is go to the website. But in fact, let me just show you a quick little clip about the new coffee cup. Play it, guys.
FlashPoint mugs are now available to order. Help support the show and order at govictory.com/shop. Supplies will be limited due to high demand, so secure your order today. Be inspired every morning or give one as a gift. You can order at govictory.com/shop. Take advantage of these while they're available.
All right, so there you go. If you want it, let me tell you, we will sell out tonight. So when we sell out, it will not be on the website. So if you're watching this and you go to the website, it's not there, it's because we had to order more. There is no more pre-order on this. We will order as soon as we get more, but I'm confident we'll sell out tonight. But go get your coffee cup. All right, so let me kind of start with, we're going to talk about a lot of things tonight, but earlier today, I read this post by Dennis Prager, and I wanted to add some things to what he said, but I want to share parts of it with you tonight. You know, one of the most highly regarded books of the 20th century was Ernest Becker's The Denial of Death. Winner of the 1974 Pulitzer Prize, the book is regarded as a classic in its analysis of how human beings deny their own mortality. But there's something people deny even more than mortality: evil. Someone should write a book on the denial of evil. Now, that would be much more important because while we cannot prevent death, we can prevent evil. The most glaring example of the denial of evil in our day is communism, an ideology that within a period of only 60 short years created modern totalitarianism, tortured, starved, killed, deprived more people of human rights than any other ideology in human history. Why people ignore or even deny communist evil is still bewildering to me. Tonight, I'm going to simply lay out the facts. But before I do, I need to address another question. Why is it important that everyone know what communism really did? Well, there are three reasons. First, we have a moral obligation to the victims not to forget them. Just as Americans have a moral obligation to remember the victims of American slavery, we have the same obligation to the billion victims of communism, especially the 100 million who were murdered. Second, the best way to prevent an evil from reoccurring is to confront it in all its horror. The fact that many people today, especially young people, believe communism is a viable, even morally superior option for modern society. It proves they know nothing about communism's moral record. I blame the schools for this. Therefore, they do not properly fear communism, which means this evil could happen again. And why could it happen again? That brings us to reason number three. The leaders of communist regime and the vast number of people who helped those leaders torture, enslave, and murder, plus the many more people who reported on their neighbors for saying something objectionable to the communists, were nearly all normal people. Of course, there were some psychopaths, but most were not, which proves that any society, including free ones, can devolve into communism or some evil sort. Now, here's some facts. According to the authoritative, the Black Book of Communism, written by 6 French scholars and published in the United States by Harvard University Press, the numbers of people murdered, not people, now listen, this is not people killed in combat. These are ordinary civilians trying to live their lives who were murdered by communist regimes. All right, here we go. Here's the list. Latin America, 150,000. Vietnam, 1 million. Eastern Europe, 1 million. Ethiopia, 1.5 million. North Korea, 2 million. Cambodia, 2 million. The Soviet Union, 20 million. Many scholars believe the number was considerably higher. And China, 65 million, and these numbers are all conservative. For example, in Ukraine alone, the Soviet regime and its Ukrainian Communist Party helpers starved 5 to 6 million people to death within a 2-year period. It's almost inconceivable that only 14 or 15 million other Soviet citizens were murdered. We know they doctored the numbers. And of course, these numbers don't describe the suffering endured by hundreds of millions of people who were not murdered. The systematic stripping of their right to speak freely, to worship, to start a business, or even to travel without the party's permission. No non-communist judiciary or media. The near poverty of nearly all communist countries. The imprisonment and the torture of vast numbers of people. And of course, the trauma suffered by the hundreds of millions of friends and relatives of the murdered and imprisoned. These numbers don't tell you about the many starving Ukrainians who ate the flesh of people, often children, sometimes including their own children. Or the Romanian Christians whose communist prison guards forced them to eat feces to compel them to renounce their faith. Or the frozen millions in the vast Soviet Siberian prison camp system known as Gulag Archipelago. Or the Vietnamese communism's routine practice of burying peasants alive to terrorize people into supporting the communists. Mao Zedong's regular use of torture to punish opponents and intimidate peasants in ways too graphic for me to even announce tonight on television. And here again, I return to the theme we started with, the denial of evil. People associate evil with darkness. But that's not accurate. It's easy to look into the dark. It's very hard to stare into the bright light. One should therefore associate evil with extreme brightness. Now, don't send me emails. I know we're talking about evil's bad, good is good, okay? But think about it. Given that people rarely look head first into true evil, and those who do not confront true evil often make up evils that are much easier to confront, such as this. Remember this? Systemic racism, toxic masculinity, and heteronormativity, whatever that is in 21st century America. The book of Psalms states this: those of you who love God, you are to hate evil. In other words, you can't love God if you don't hate evil. It's either or. There is no middle ground. And if you don't believe in God, there's another way of putting it. Those of you who love people, you are to hate evil. It's just that simple. If you don't hate communism, you don't care about, much less love people. All right, so I know many of you are thinking, of course, I don't endorse communism. Of course, why are we talking about this? But let me adjure you to think deeper. Here we are today, 2021. America has never been closer to communism than we are today, right here, right now. And it all starts with the censorship of ideas. Read your history books. Ideas that don't align with the progressive left agenda are the ones that get shut down. You and I have the solemn responsibility to stand up for freedom of speech as outlined in the First Amendment. It's our laws. It's our freedom of speech. And we have to stand up and stop censorship in its tracks. But if you don't stand up, you're going to have to deal with the results of that. Stand up against those who want to take your freedoms. And most importantly, here it is, stand up for the Judeo-Christian beliefs that this nation was founded upon. That's what it's all about. So tonight we're going to